So Donald Trump has selected, according to the New York Times, Andrew Puzder, who is the CEO of Hardee's. Well, he's the CEO of the company that owns Hardee's and Carl's Jr. This pick is, I guess, it's just the continuation in all of Donald Trump's picks that demonstrate that this cabinet is designed to dismantle the government. He picked a climate denier for the EPA. He picked a man who sees public assistance and housing as sin to lead HUD, the Housing and Urban Development. He picked a woman who believes, who fights to get public money for private schools and charter schools, to basically defund your local public school. He picked her to lead the Department of Education, and now he's picked someone who hates labor, who I think it's safe to say hate might be a strong word, but at a minimum, this guy has a deep antipathy towards workers. And this is the person that Donald Trump has picked to be the secretary of the labor secretary. I want to pull his picture on the screen so you can get a better idea of this guy, who he is. Again, his name is Andrew Puzder. He is the CEO of the company that owns Carl's Jr.'s and Hardee's. I don't know if you've ever eaten there. I do my best to never eat there. And this was before. So anyway, Puzder is vehemently against the minimum wage. He's against he's in favor of repealing the Affordable Care Act, which he believes created a quote unquote restaurant recession. And this is according to New York Times. It said because rising premiums have left middle and working class people with less money to spend dining out. Okay. All right. Yeah. So we see his priorities isn't the health of people. It's the fact that now they're having to spend money on health care, that blah, blah. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, if you think about his positions, that he has been very outspoken. Matter of fact, the best way to demonstrate how outspoken actually is a collection of quotes that were captured and tweeted out by Chris Hayes of MSNBC, just to give you a good idea of what we're talking about here. And I'm live on Twitter here. You can see this. So essentially, he's saying the guy who's going to run the Department of Labor that looks out for workers is on the record basically saying he wished workers didn't exist. And I'm going to scroll down to the beginning of it and read. So he said, here's a Secretary of Labor nominee talking about why he wants to replace humans that work for him. And then Chris Hayes goes on a nice several tweets that these are actual quotes. Quote, they're all talking about automation and robots. This is why he wants to replace human beings. Quote, they're always polite. They always upsell. They never take a vacation. They never show up late. There's never a slip and fall or an age, sex, or race discrimination case. And he says, quote, I love robots. They don't smell. They don't breathe. They don't whine about their sick kids or grieve for lost loved ones. He said, I mean, have you gone into an employee bathroom? Disgusting. I don't want that anywhere near my customers. I'm having a hard time reading it for laughing because this is the guy who Donald Trump has picked to be the Secretary of Labor. The guy who's supposed to look out for workers hates workers. He's for full automation, which, okay, we'll discuss that in a moment. But I mean, he's look at it. He's going to do things. I mean, I don't even know where to start with this guy. But Donald Trump has shown us that he wants the very best people qualified to dismantle the departments he's assigning them to. This guy has complained about sex and age discrimination. So clearly he's going in with that bias. He's complained about workers needing bereavement time. God forbid somebody dies, you know. So anyway, he was using that as an excuse to promote full automation, which is all but inevitable. You do realize that automation is, well, that's an entirely different conversation. The point of this conversation is Adam Puzder, who's talked about, I want to put this back on the screen. I have a quote here. When asked about his ads, according to the New York Times, he said, quote, "I like our ads," he told the publication. He said, "I like beautiful women eating burgers in bikinis. I think it's very American." I don't know, some statements just, I just have to applaud there. I have to applaud because it's so asinine. It's hilarious. So that's why I had the picture of the scant. These are the models. This is how he promotes his burgers and his fries with women who probably would never even go in to smell what that food smells like. This is the guy who's in charge of labor. This is how he views women. This is how he views discrimination cases. This is how he views old age. This is how he views the older. I mean, it seriously sounds like something out of the Matrix. I wish I can get the Matrix clip and drop it right there where he's talking about the smell. It's the smell. You know, this is what this guy thinks of labor and workers. And when I tell you this is going to be one of the crowning achievements of Donald Trump, it's not just about the workers directly. It's also about unions. It's about the ability for workers to organize and negotiate. And we're putting in someone who is 100% not only against negotiation, against unions, but against minimum wage, against health care, Affordable Care Act, against everything that is important to workers. I mean, and just to add insult to injury, why not? I'm going to put this on the screen. This is something I caught on Twitter from Facebook. I don't even know if we're going to be able to see it, but I'm going to try my best. I'll read it to you in the audience. Yeah, you guys totally cannot see this on YouTube. But it reads, this is someone's account. They went out to dinner, and this is what they did. They said, "So I took the wife out to dinner last night, and we have always talked about doing this. You put 5 singles out on the table at the beginning of dinner for the waiter or waitress to see. Don't say anything to them. If they mess up, you take $1 away, and so on. At the end of dinner, however much is left, that's their tip. I shit you not, you will receive the best service of your life." The waitress kept looking at I'm sorry. The waitress kept looking at it as if she was confused. But she played her cards right, did a great job, and received the whole $5. I did take away $1 because she forgot the bread, but she bounced back and gave us extra. Ha ha. All in the name of a great blah, 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 blah. I read that because labor. This is what labor has to be subjected to. Especially in the restaurant industry, right, where this guy hails from. Labor has to be beholden to ignorance, to this level of ignorance and this level of degradation, this level of humiliation for tips that quite literally should already be in their salary, but that's a entirely different conversation. This is the environment. And of course, it's just one post. It's just one idiot, one imbecile. But this is exactly this is what they're exposed to. And not this type of behavior so much as the desperation and the need for these tips because they're not making any money. This is what labor is exposed to just in the restaurant industry. Now, if you go industry by industry by industry, you'll see all types of situations, scenarios, problems unique to that industry that makes labor uniquely vulnerable. and dependent on safety, and not just safety, but guarantees that are enforced by the Labor Department. That is, so long as you have a person who is relatively concerned, or at least not detrimental to labor. And of course, Donald Trump says, bump what you heard. I don't only want detrimental. I want somebody who's going to come in and just tear this entire thing apart, top to bottom. And that person is Adam Puzder, your Secretary of Labor.